Okay, students, good morning. I'm just going to go through some revision work with you and the November exam scope and what else? The possible theory questions, things like that. So let me go and share my screen. Where is it now? Application screen, the entire screen, and share. Okay, there we go. All right, hi students, good morning. So this will be our last lesson basically for the year. And I'm going to focus on 6.4.3, the SWANS exercise, integration. So let's first look at, let me minimize, let's first look at November exam. I think I did post this already, double click. Okay, this is the theory question. So students, theory section of exam is 20 marks of your 100, and the Excel and imports and exports is your 80 marks. So this makes 100 marks. For your T3 final November exam, or shall I say 30% weighting T4 column. Pardon? So this is the possible exam questions. At least 5 of the 7 questions is coming in. You must know all 7 because it can be any 5 of these 7 questions. So yes, know this, people. Own words, students. Try and put an example in between, just like we did in June exams, just like we did in March exams. So this is your possible 20 marks and your 4 or 5 questions that's guaranteed is going to come in your final exams. So this is out of 20 years. So this is your theory section. All right, I did post it. I think I'll put it on Blackboard again. Now let's go look at the scope of the Excel, which is basically unit 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's exit out of here. And what is that? There we go. The final 2025 November scope. So as I said, section A is theory, 20 marks, which we just looked at now, the possible exam questions. And then we go to section B, which is Excel. And I think there's a section C for your Access and Excel, import and export and export and import. And yeah, that makes your 80 marks for your 100 marks of the final exam. So these are the type of formulas that you can expect to see in your final exam. Substitute, the different types of today's, autofit and charts, and your count ifs, your sorting, your subtotals. So this is just an overview of the, not possible, of the formulas that will come in your November exam. All right. So I will put this on Blackboard and I will post this again on our WhatsApp groups. Okay, so now I want to look at that exercise 4. I think we did the first 2 in class, but I want to do 6.4.3. So let's exit, which is that 6.4.3, yes, which is the SWANS car wash. Oh, I thought it was the SWANS, it was the car wash exercise, sorry. The SWANS exercise is 6.4.2. The JP car wash is 6.3. So let's open up the, let's see what is this. Okay, that's our starter files over there. And I might as well open up the starter files and open up Excel Salon. And let's look at the questions. Not that is the link. Go back to over there and over there. Okay, so let's make the screen a bit bigger. All right, and let's make Excel a little bit bigger, 120, 130, and scroll up. So let's see. I'm going to mix switch. Okay, let me switch between the Word document and the starter file. So we are working currently now in the staff sales worksheet. which we're going to have to autofit all the columns that has all the data inside it. And let's highlight them in yellow. Then we know we've done it. And let's open up. So autofit the JP sales. Let's see. The JP sales worksheet, and let's make this sheet also 120. And they want me to autofit. So between A and B, we're going to double click, double click, double click, double click. E and F, double click, autofit, autofit, and autofit. We're going to probably have to autofit this column again, because what I see here already, we're going to probably multiply the 11 units with a price, and we're going to get a total in there. And I see we got some information here that we need to finish and complete, and formulas on this side here as well. Let me just kill this. Sorry. Yeah. So we're going to probably autofill this column here, and we're going to have to fill in information over there. Let's see, nothing at the bottom. Okay. So let's scroll back. You see I'm scrolling to the left and right. Let's make the screen a little bit smaller so we can see everything in there. Okay. So we auto-fitted all the columns. In column A, complete the staff unique numbers from A3 to A8 using the what, students? Probably the auto fill copy series. Let's have a look. Where's my pointer now? There we go. Let's scroll till there. Okay, so it's already over there with my mouse in the corner in that black square, and we pull it, click, left click, and pull it all the way down. So the copy series formula is already locked in. Let's see. Copy or fill series is already locked in this formula. So when we click and autofill down, automatically the numbers will generate for you. The unique number 2, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 8, 9, 10, and so on. All right, that's covered. What else? In cell D2, use a function to join the name with the surname using the dash or division symbol in between and autofill the rest of that data information down to D28. So what comes to mind? When you see the word join and combine, then concatenate comes to mind. Not concat, concatenate. Okay, and let's see. In column D2, the N for name, we must join with the S for surname with a dash sign, division sign in between. So I'm going to go into formulas, and I'm going to show it to you in formula version. So let's put it there. The text is name. In the second menu bar, we are going to dash. In the third text, you see, when I click in the third text, automatically the inverted commas gets locked in for me. And we're going to click on the surname called, I don't know what it is, Peggy Samuels. And I click on OK. There is one more circular, incorrectly, moving or changing, let's say OK. Okay. I think I made a mistake because I placed my cursor instead of there, so I undo. In there, let's see. All right. Again, recently used, concatenate, Peggy, dash, inverted commas, Samuels. There we go. It should work now. I say 3 marks. 3 marks. And I see semicolons in my laptop. Maybe commas will work in the exam. So you need to test it in what lab you're working in. It can be semicolons or commas. And we autofill the values and the dot, not the values, the information, the data down to 28, column D. There we go. Next one. So we did 3, question 4. Center line all the data from column E to column H. So all the data we must just center from E, F, G, H all the way down to row 28. And home tab and center. Okay, so far so good. And let's shade him in yellow. In cell F1, use the substitute function to change the cost per unit in J7 with a price per unit in K7. So what cell are we first working in? F1. Let's go back to data file F1. Now something here doesn't look right. This must be deleted, students, because J and K comes to effect here. Let's see. J and K. So change the cost in J7 with the price. So in other words, the word price must be placed in F1. So this has to be a blank cell. Let's just undo and see. It's a normal writing. And I want to say, let's leave it so. Let's just see something. I'm going to click on is equal to in that cell, irrespective if the word is there or not. And I'm going to say substitute. And I am in cell F1. No. Cost per unit, semicolon, cost per unit, semicolon, to change to price per unit, and close brackets. Can you see it there? J7, cost per unit, which is the word cost in there that we're going to change to price in there. And let's see what happens. There we go. Say, perfect. So you can click in that cell and that again, because that is the data. And inside the data, we want to change the word cost to price. There we go. Or I can delete it. Right? And I say is equal to substitute, double click, cost again, not comma, made a mistake, semicolon, cost again, semicolon for the price, and close him. There we go. Same thing. So far, so good. So watch out for that in exam. You can write or type or insert the formula in that cell, whether the cell is blank or whether the cell has wording ticks inside that cell. So when I click on here, there is my formula over there. So far, so good. All right. Another 3 mark substitute, done and dusted. In H2, which is next to E, F, G, H, H2, determine the total price increase value by using the total of the 2025 and the percent shown in K8 using the absolute function. So in H, there's a reason why I did that. Sorry, there's a reason why. So before we can even work in H, what must we do to column G? We first need to multiply that with that to get an answer in G. Then we can use that total of G multiply it with the percent that they give me there of 7%, which is that, to determine the new increase price, including adding the total value. So watch out in H2. But before we even do H2, we need to do something here. Is equal to 11 times 790. Enter. And autofill down. And we see those hash signs, like I said earlier on, we're going to have to auto-fit this column later, like that. Now, students, we do the increase part. By what? Total increase, the percentage in H20, in K8. Okay, and it goes something like this. K row 8 is equal to that amount, G, times the 7%, F4 key, plus that amount. Again, and enter. Make sense? Right. Let me just grab my pen quickly. Give me 10 seconds. I just want to make an asterisk there. All right, I'm coming. Okay. So that is the formula for that over there, and we auto fill it down. Okay. Let me just write something here. Question 6, question 5, and 6. But it's fine. We kind of got that covered. So we got that one done. In the name column, use conditional formatting to highlight the text that contains the word Peggy. And use the green fill with the dark green text. That's straightforward, people. Step 1, we shade in the column, which is the name column over there. And conditional formatting. Highlight the text that contains. Can you see that there? The text, the information that contains the word Peggy. It's already given there. But what color? Green. And okay. So all Peggy's are in green. Number 7. Done. Use a count formula in K3 to count the number of units sold that shows more than and is equal to 30. So we must use a count if to count the number of units. Count if to count the number of units in this column over here, which shows us units that has more than and is equal to 30 onwards. And in what cell do we do it? K3. Let's see again the question in K3. Correct. We're going to do a count if. And over there. And I move my mouse a little bit. Let's make it again 100. Okay, so now you can see the whole screen. And I'm going to try the formulas one. Formula recently used. And I'm going to search for Mr. Count if. And I double click. Oh, okay. Right. What is my range? This is my range. What is the criteria in the range? More than and is equal to 30. That we can count. And let's see what happens. But there's nothing here. So I think I need to put in inverted commas. And I think I need to put in inverted commas. And there we go. There are 10 units that is 30 and more. And okay. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Right, count A. What does count A tell me? Or what does count A? In K4, the unique numbers we must count. No problem. In cell K4, the unique numbers, again, recently used count A now. We are going to value backspace. Let's select the range and let's say, okay, 27. That's it. 2, 3 marks. That's your count A, people. Next question. Average amount of what column? F2 to F28, the price per unit. What is the average price per unit? Over there in K, what's that row now? 5. Average of the price per unit. Formula, nothing over there. Let's go searching. Type in the word average. Double click, okay. What's my average range of, what is it again? Number of units. I select them. And let's see what happens. So the average is 26.481. I'm just going to do it here again manually. Is equal to average. Close brackets. Enter. It's the same. So what do we do now? We can round this average value off to a whole number, or we can keep it as is. It doesn't matter. Delete that one. I'm talking about that figure over there. Let's see. Did I say here? Okay, I'm going to put it in here. Round off to a whole number. All right. End. And save it. And we can round it off by clicking on the Home tab and looking at that 2 values over there. Back, which is 26. Perfect. Let's see what they want me to do next. Next question. Text today. Text today. Not the today. The text today using a particular sequence. DDD, month, and year. All right. Let's see. Let's see. The today's date. Step 1 is equal to text. Double click. Today. Double click. Close my brackets. Semicolon. Open inverted commas. What is the sequence? DD. Hyphenated. MM for month. Hyphenated. Y 2025. Close my inverted commas. Close my brackets. You see the formula in the formula bar? And I'm going to click on enter. And I see the day's date is the 21st of October over there in the bottom right hand corner. Let's see. Perfect. Let's click on the formula. And there is the formula over there. So not today and not adding values. This is a text today keyword using a sequence. All right. Let's see if the sequence is right. Yes, day, month. Cool. Sort the worksheet using the cell range A1H on name in ascending A to Z order. So we're going to sort this document, including the subheadings on name from A1 to H28. A1H all the way down. we are going to sort it on name. There we go. Custom sort on the column name in A to Z order. All right. So all the Alfreds are together, all the Bongis are together, all the Napes are there, all the Peggies, all the Peters, and the Shoes, and Sibu Siso. Okay. Now they're probably going to ask me to do a subtotal. But let's see if they want me to count the subtotal or if they want me to add values. Sorting done. Subtotal change in each name column, counting the number of units for each name with a count total showing and reflecting in the number of units sold column. So it's subtotal, name, units sold in the name column or number of units sold. Okay, so let's break this into components. Subtotal yellow, subtotal function, we're going to count the number of units, and the word subtotal must be shown in the number of units sold column, which is column C, and we're going to auto fit that column, the name column, when we're done. So step 1, we shade in this information. It's already shaded in and selected. Data, subtotal on name, counting the number of units sold. This column. No, sorry, number of units sold. So we're going to count all the Alfreds, number of units sold. We're going to count all Bongies, units sold. We're going to count all Napes, units sold. Same for Piggies, units sold. Same for Peter. Let's see what happens. Nice. So Alfred counted, he counted, and we sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Bongi 3 units. No, Alfred 3 units. Bongi 5 units, sorry, Alfred 5, Bongi 3, Nape, and so on and so on. And now they want me to that people made the same mistake in the assignment to auto fit the column. C, read the question. Auto fit column C. Right, this sheet is done and we save it. Save. Click away, anywhere, and we auto fit, we did everything and we save it. Right, let's see what the next sheet, which is the star performance sheet, takes 2 columns, delimiter on general. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Performance. Performance. Okay. So they want me to shade in column A. We are in data. Text 2 columns. Delimited. Next. Showing a comma. Take the tab away. Let's see what we get. And next. In general and finish. Aha. So far so good. This is easy peasy 3 marks. Number 15. Done. Insert a new row at the top and we're going to type in name in B1, A1 and target unit sold B2 and B1. And C1 actual units sold, and D the units sold achieved, and an E percentage. Whoa! So we got 5 columns to work out. Step 1, let's insert a new row at the top. Click away. With my arrow in the corner, right click and insert. Now I'm going to be lazy, but I'm going to copy and paste this thing over. But in the exam, you need to type it in. A1 is name. Copy. And Control V paste. B1 is probably target units copy, sold, and Control V to paste it. C1 actual units sold, copy. C1, Control V to paste actual units sold. And then there's a D. The units sold achieved. And E is percentage. D1, the achieved part. And E1 is percent. But remember in exam, like I said, people and students, we need to type those cells and information in. There we go. So automatically, what comes to mind already? I think we need to auto fit these columns. Let's just see. Insert a new row. Okay, we did 16, 17. Format Painter and apply the above point number 17 subheadings. Apply it to the above point number 17 subheadings using any of the subheadings of the staff. Make sure the font, okay. So they want me, in other words, in a nutshell, what that question, they want me to make the wording of this look like that, or that must look like that. But they want me to use the staff, any of those subheadings over there of the staff worksheet using the Format Painter feature and apply it to all of them over there. So I'm going to select them all. No, I'm not. I'm first going to go to staff sales sheet, and I'm going to click on say unique number, and I'm going to say Format Painter, and I'm going to click on back performance, and I'm going to click on name. Okay. Now I can use Format Painter in this sheet because it's the same thing, and click on there, or what I can do is now click and drag it to the rest to apply it to all the columns. So in other words, they want me to make these subheadings look like this, which we just did now. Make sure that the font is NGO, column width is 25, row height is 18, and applied to the data. Okay, so let's see. Is the font in Geo? Yes, it is. Is the column width? The column width, we need to change the width of the column to 25 and the row to 18. Okay, let's see. All the columns, we're going to right click the column width, we're going to change to 25 and OK or enter. And we are going to change the row height only of the heading. Is it only the heading or all? There we go. And the row height are 18, only to the subheading. Apply bold and green subheadings with a light green fill, bold center aligned. Subheadings with a light green fill, which is fine. It's already in light green. So we need to bold and center and apply the row of the subheading to 18. So row 1, row height 18, enter. Let's see it again. It is 18 and OK. And it is bold. Is it? Yes, it is. It's already bold. Is it center aligned? Yes, it is. In the middle. In the middle. That one is in the middle. In the middle. They're all centered and they're all green. So in other words, that does look like that. Or that does look like that. Righto. Shoo! So far so good. Let's see now. That one is done. Number 19. In cell C2, unit cell column, link the subtotal values of the JP worksheet with the correct name of the actual unit sold in the JP staff worksheet. So we need to link that counting values that we did in the subtotal of the other sheet, and we link it to the correct name in the sheet. In the actual, that is Okay, the actual C1, or shall I say C2 to C8. C2 to C8. Okay, makes sense. So let's link it quickly, people. Alfred is equal to 5. Enter. Bongi is equal to, I think it's 3. Enter. Bongi with Bongi. Nape. Nape. 5. Enter. Sorry. Peggy. Peggy. 6. Peggy. Who's the other one? Peter. Peggy count. Peter count. 3. Enter. Choose. Scroll a bit down. Peter. Peggy count. Peter count. Choose. 3. Enter. And the last one. Sips is 2. Enter. All right. Let's see. Work change correct. Undo. So we did that. Actual units correct name. Okay, we did that one. Now they want me to add the totals of the C2 to C8 in C9. And then they want me to determine the units of the grand units with a percentage. But that's in column E. Okay. So let's quickly add up that. That's an auto sum. From there to there, we auto sum the values. All right. Units sold, achieved, but we first want me to determine the percentages. Let's see. 21. Actual units sold. Special key feature, $F4 key from the grand total at the bottom to determine the percentage of each of those values that we counted. Okay, so in cell E2, mouse, where are you, pointer? There we go. E2 is equal to 5 divided by the grand total, F4 key, and enter. But what did we forget to do? We must convert the cell or column to per home percentage. Right. Now let's autofill the rest of the values down and let's see what happens. To E8, and there we go. And if we auto sum these values up, it should give me a value of percent is always out of A. Aha. Perfect. That's just for me to check. So it is right and I delete it. Right. Now they want me to find and determine the number of units sold or achieved. So let's see what the question is. Use an if function in D2 to determine if the number of units sold is less than that, then the target is not achieved. But if it's more, then the target is achieved. And then we autofill the values down. So if the units sold is less than the target units sold, actual units sold, target is less. Let's see the two columns. If the actual is less than the target, then the target is not achieved. But if it is, then it will be achieved. So let's see what the wording, target not achieved, target achieved. So let's see. If that is equal to if that is more than that, then the target, comma, target will be achieved. And if it's not, semicolon, sorry, open bracket, target not achieved. Close my brackets. Close my inverted commas, close my brackets. Let's see the formula. There's the formula in top over there. If C2 is more than B2, if the actual is more than the target, let's see what we get. Okay, I press enter. Let's see. Okay. Oh, because I used a comma there and I had to use a semicolon and I click on end and enter. Okay. Makes sense. The actual is 5 and the target is 7, so that is less than that, so the target is not achieved. But it seems like this one will be achieved. That one is more than that one, it will be achieved. That one is less than that one, it will not be achieved. So let's see the rest and autofill down. I say 3 is more than 2 achieved, 5 is more than 4 achieved, 6 is less than 8 not achieved, 3 is less than 4 not achieved, 3 is more than 1 achieved, but 2 is less than 3 not achieved. Make sense? Another 3-4 marks exam, people. So that is our staff performance sheet over there. What else do they want me to do in the sheet? Highlight the data in C. Oh, now we're going to create a pie chart, a 3D pie. But we need to select certain columns, column C and column E only. All right. So let's see. Column C and column E. Including the subheadings C, finger on control key and E. And they want me to insert a 3D pie, 3D, something like that. Right, let's see how they want me to position this thing. Highlight the 3D pie, cell A, so that it fits between A12 and C28. A12 and C28. There we go. Okay, so he's going to park right there. So we got the positioning right. Change the chart to layout 6 and style number 7. So layout, click on my pie, click on the chart design, layout 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and style 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's hover. I say style 7, layout 6. Style 7, layout 6. Perfect. Rename the title to JP Performance. Okay, we're going to type a new heading in, and I'm going to copy and paste it, but in the exam you need to type it. So let's go back to that sheet. In there, delete that. Oops, I made a mistake. Now let's undo. We don't delete, we backspace, and we type it in, but I'm going to be lazy and Control V to paste it in. JP Performance. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? Explode the chart by extracting the highest percentage slice. Yellow. Let's see. The highest percentage slice. I think the biggest percent in this pie chart is 22%. It's the purple one. And I click once on it. And I click again on it just to focus on, not that one, that one. On the 22%, and I click and I drag him to the left bottom with my mouse, a little bit out, and I release my finger, and there is my pie exploded. The biggest or highest percent of 22, I pull that slice out. They call it the pie slice. Let's save, and let's see here. Okay. Insert the picture from our data files. And let it fit between E12 and H28. Okay, E12 and H28. E12 and H28. So I'm going to use a yellow color. That picture that we're going to find now in our data files must fit over that yellow that we just highlighted in. So what do? Insert illustration pictures. Illustrations, pictures over the yellow cells from this laptop device, computer, desktop, which we find our data file saved on the desktop. And where is it now? Exercise 6. There it is. Data files. And there's the car wash logo, and I insert him. And there he is at the bottom, and I must position and fit him over that yellow, which is E12 to 28, and up, and down 28. And a little bit to the right. And that is it. We inserted the logo another 2-3 marks, people. And save. And change the sheet color tab to light green of this performance worksheet. Let's see. Performance. Right click. Tab color to a green. If I click on there, there's the green color, which looks similar to that color. If I click on there, which is similar to that color. Okay, so this sheet is done, people. This is very much like your November exam, people. That's why I'm doing this exercise. Okay, let's see. Save the worksheet, which we did too. In the forecast sheet, we're going to create a forecast sheet now. That's what I see here. 27, 28. Ach man, undo. Jesus. Yellow. The forecast sheet, select cells A2 to B27, create the forecast sheet, tab, menu, forecast for selecting the start date, column chart, feature, column chart, feature, average, adjust position the chart so it fits. Okay, forecast, this sheet over here. So we select our information from A2 to B28. Let's read it again. A2 to B27 or 28. Let's see. 27. Sorry, my bad. Data. Forecast sheet. Using a column. Our start date is let's read it again. 8. And end date is the 25th. So this is the end, which is the 25th. And if I click on, let's push this up a bit. If I click on options, we must start on the 8, which is already set for us. And it's the average, which is already set for us. Let's see. Average already. And column. And 25th. And the 8, it's already, yes. And we're going to create it. Voila. And we jump to a new sheet. Can you see there? From there, we jump to a new sheet. Now they want me to position this column between F2 and Q26. F2 to Q26. I say. Now that look nice. Okay. And rename the sheet to JP column forecast. I'm going to copy this, be naughty again. We're supposed to type it in and move the sheet so that it's shown to the end, to the right. It shows last. So I'm going to take the sheet and move it to the right. I'm going to move this screen thing here out of the way. There we go. I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it all the way to the right. Come on. There we go. So that it's shown last. There's it. And we're going to right click, rename, and we're going to type in the something column forecast, but I'm going to Control V, paste it in there, and there we go. And click away. This is easily 6, 7, 8 marks in, about 6, 7 marks in your November exam, students. So this is the forecast sheet in a column. And we get forecast sheets in a line. So this is the column version. So as you can see in this, exercise. The sales from the 8th, 19th, 11th, 12th drop towards the end of the month, which is the 25th of April. All right. Okay, students, and save it. And let's continue. That's it. That worksheet is done. Yellow. Right. JP data table worksheet. Oh, this is the exercise we did in class. Now we're going to do a data table using the one variable and percentage provided. We're almost done, people. We won't be long. Let's see. What worksheet are we in? Data table worksheet. So that was the forecast. Here we are. Oh, like we did in class. Let's make this a bit bigger. We need to determine the highest value by saying what? Is equal to 80 times the 80% F4 key, enter. Then we need to determine the lowest is equal to 10. Multiply star the 80% F4 key to lock the formula, enter. Now we need to determine the total profit by multiplying that with that plus that with that, with the highest multiplied plus the lowest multiplied, which goes something like this, is equal to open brackets bomb dash 80 times 64 close brackets plus the lowest value, the 10 times the 8 rand. Oh, I forgot my brackets. And I forgot to open and close my brackets. Let's see what happens and enter. 5,200. Now they want me to link this 5,200 value to that E10. Let's read. Here we are. Lowest we did. Plus that one that we did. Link it to E10. Is equal to, click on the value and enter. Voila. Now they want me to determine what? Let's move this thing a bit to the right. So if I see 80 here, and I'm going to make it in green color, and I'm going to make that also in green, that 5,200 should be on 80%. Why? Because of that 80%. I should actually make that yellow. Yellow with yellow, green with green. Now watch. We're going to use the one variable, focusing on the column E, not the row and column, only the column. That's why we're focusing on one variable to determine the data table function with a percentage provided in F5. And here we go. So we're going to select E11 to E19. Step 1. E11 to 19. Not excluding. That is the value, the one. In other words, from the 20% down, but only focusing on the column. And we go to data table, which is the what if analysis using the data table feature, focusing only on the column, not the row. And let's see, we click on the percent of 80. And if I say, okay, the section valid, make sure that your copy paste area don't overlap and miss the same shape. Okay. Oh, let's see. There to there, including the percentage column. So it's D11 to E19. Let's read that question again. Isn't it D11? Because we must include the percent. Let's see now. D11 to 19. what if data on the percent column of 80, let's see what, okay, it's still 0. Then there's a mistake. I think we need to select undo. Let's, click away. Let's do the whole. Let's select D10 all the way down. Let's first undo and undo again. No, man. Redo. Here we are. Let's delete that information. Sorry, students. Let's select all that information from D11, data, what if analysis, data table. Click on there, click on the percent, and okay. There we go. So it's D10 to E11. I was right. It's D10 to E19. Sorry. In other words, this whole table must be selected. Let me just grab some water quickly. Oh, here we go. Coffee. My throat is itchy again. Sinus season, post-nasal tickle drip. So students, that is your data table using the one column variable, focusing on the column E only, but selecting D10 to E19, focusing on the 80%. So in the 80%, we have 5,200, 5,200. Does that make sense? So if I type in here maybe a 20 or a 30%, that means 1950 should be enter. 1950 to the 30. Make sense? But I'm going to click him undo and we go back to 80, which is 52. So students, that is how we focus on data tables, and that's what it's all about. Focusing on the column E, but just remember, select your whole table in. The whole table in one variable. Save it. And percentage provided in the F5, which is the 80% over there. Perfect. Okay, so that is that. Now let's see, they probably want us to do some imports and exports. Import the table of the stats to your Access file. Found in the starter file. So we need to table, let's write it down here, JP stats, because what comes to mind now, we need to close. Import the table, JP stats. Oh, yes. No, we keep this open because we're going to take something from the Access file and we're going to import it into the Excel file. Okay, so right, step 1. We done? Rename sheet. Didn't they want us to rename the sheet to something? Let me just see. The forecasting sheet, didn't we rename it to something? Rename the forecast. I'll call the JP column. I thought so. And move it to the end. Copy. Move the sheet to the end. Right click. Rename, Control V. There we go. I'm thinking now. Now, after that, we work on the data table. This is where we ended. Now we're going to do the import. Save. And here we are, data tab. Get data from what? From the database, which is, in this case, we're using Access, which we saved on, on our desktop. And we're waiting for it to open. Let's give it a couple of minutes. And here we go. On my desktop, like your exam, let's look for your data files, which is that over there. In my data files, and that's my file, and we say import. Now, this little menu will appear. Let's see. And we need to select a particular table, which is the JP stats table. Over there, and the preview appears, and we load him. And there we go. It's going to come up shortly. And there it is, people. And let's exit here in the top right-hand corner. And what do they want me to do? Rename the sheet to table. Oh, from to import JP Stats. Right-click, copy. And we're going to take this old name, rename it to the name that they want us to rename it to. Import it, the JP Stats table from Access into our Excel sheet over here where it is. Right, what else do they want me to do here? Rename. So from there we did that, and we rename. Format the target yes no comment so that it reflects only all the yes data. Okay, so in that down arrow over there, they only want us to show, click all the way, and they only want me to show the yeses. Let's move and I say okay, and there is all my yeses. Right, and save him. What else do they want me to do? That's it. Close the workbook. Now we're going to do an export and save. And what is the file that they want me to export? It's called the staff export info sheet. So in other words, the sheet here, we are going to export into our Access database, which we're going to find in our starter files. So we checked everything. We did everything. All our work, all the answers, everything. And we save and exit. And I minimize. And in my starter files on my desktop, which is this file here, just like your exam, your data file saved on the desktop, we open up the Access file. Double click. Now they want me to, okay, learn more, and we exit that pink strip. They want me to get external data from a data source from our Excel file on our browse desktop, which is in our starter file over there, which is that over there, and we open. And now, and we say, let's move him there, and we say, okay, but there's a particular sheet that they want me to use, the export sheet. Let's see what it is. The staff export sheet, which is this information over here. And they want me to export it into the Access file, which we're busy with right now. And we say next. And you want the first row contains column headings? Yes. And we say next. We tick box. And we say next. And we let Access provide us with a primary key to lock the information. And we say next. And we say finish. And we save the import steps and save it. And voila. Let's double click on here. There is this Excel sheet that we exported from Excel, the file, into Access. Right. So in your final exam, students, you're going to get an import and an export. This sheet over here was the sheet that we took and we imported it into Access. This sheet comes from Excel and we imported it or exported it into the Access database file. Do they want me to rename anything? Let's see. Rename the table to JP Export Info. Copy, which is the Export Info sheet. This one, but we cannot rename while the file is open, so we exit and close it and right click, rename, and we type it in, but I'm lazy, I'm going to copy and paste it in over there and enter or OK and click away. Why are we object name TPL? You need to enter dozen Microsoft naming rules. Okay, fine. That's not a naming rules. Let's click that full stop away. And there we go. Table JP from Excel into Access. And this one is from Access that we push back into Excel. Import and export from both ways. And exit. And submit. And this is the exercise 6.4.3, students. That's it. So people, this is already probably 50-55 marks of your Excel section out of 80 that we covered for your November exam. The tutors will do your what? The mock test with you. All right. So what I'm going to do right now, save, or shall I say, I'm going to take all this yellow stuff. Yeah, that's fine. We can leave it and exit. That file is done. That file is done. Obviously, in the exam, you're going to right-click, rename your file to surname, student number, November, paper A or paper B. Rename this Access file to your surname, student number, your group A, B, C, whatever, paper B or paper A. You're going to zip these two files. You're going to create a folder, zip it, rename the zip folder, and upload to Blackboard. That's part of the final steps in your exam. So that's it, students. Everything of the best. We covered everything. And back to that. And stop my recording. Not leave. See you, students.